Evening, everyone. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the energy in this room. Feel it rising because tonight we're not just talking about change, we're stepping into it. We're going to talk about how to manifest faster, not by wishing harder, but by becoming the elevated version of yourself that already lives in that future reality. You see, most people wait for their life to change so they can feel better. They wait for the job, the relationship, the healing, the abundance. Then do they allow themselves to feel joy, gratitude, or freedom? But that's backward. That's living from matter to energy from the external world, trying to change how you feel inside. And it keeps you stuck in the same loop, creating the same reality day after day. To manifest faster, you have to reverse it. You have to become so aligned with your future that you feel the elevated emotions of that future now in the present moment. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, something extraordinary happens. Your thought sends the signal out into the quantum field, and your elevated emotion, like gratitude, love, joy, or inspiration, draws the experience back to you. It's like broadcasting a new frequency, and the universe has no choice but to match it. Imagine this: your brain is a record of the past, conditioned by old emotions, fear, lack, resentment, survival. Those low frequency emotions keep you anchored to what was. When you practice feeling elevated emotions ahead of the experience, you're no longer waiting for something outside of you to change how you feel. You're generating those feelings from within. And in that moment, you become more energy than matter. You step into the quantum field where all possibilities exist, and you select a new timeline. I've seen it thousands of times, people healing their bodies, attracting opportunities that seem miraculous, creating wealth and love out of nowhere. Not because of luck, because they changed their energy first. They got up every day and rehearsed who they were becoming. They meditated, breathed, and felt the emotions of their future so profoundly that their body began to believe it was already living in that reality. Need more time. You need more energy, elevated energy, the kind that comes from an open heart, from coherence between your brain and your heart. When your heart beats in rhythm with elevated feelings, it creates a powerful magnetic field that pulls your desires toward you faster than you can imagine. So, how do you do this? Start by getting beyond your old self. Sit down each morning, close your eyes, and become aware of your thoughts, how they make you feel. Then choose to think greater than how you feel. Set a clear intention. What do you want to create? Be specific. See it in vivid detail. But don't stop there. Now, feel it. Feel the gratitude as if it's already happened. Feel the joy, the freedom, the love. Teach your body emotionally what your mind has intellectually understood. Practice this daily. Breathe deeply, activate your heart center, and broadcast that new signal. The longer you linger in those elevated emotions, more you rewire your brain and body to that future. And suddenly synchronicities appear, opportunities knock. Your outer world begins to reorganize itself around your new inner state. You are not a victim of your past. You are the creator of your future. Fastest way to get there is to stop surviving and start creating from elevated emotions. When you feel worthy now, whole now, abundant now, the universe says yes faster. So tonight, make a decision. Decide to no longer wait. Decide to feel the future in the now. Because when you do, manifestation doesn't take time. It becomes inevitable. You have the power. You always have. Now, rise up, open your heart, and become supernatural. People approach manifestation from a place of waiting. They set their intentions, visualize their goals, and then sit back, hoping that something in the outer world will shift so they can finally feel better. They wait for the promotion to feel successful, relationship to feel loved, for the healing to feel whole, for the money to arrive to feel abundant. They believe that once the external circumstance changes, the internal emotion will follow. And in that waiting, they remain trapped in the same reality after day, year after year. This is the common way of living from matter, trying to change energy. You look at your life, the body, the environment, the circumstances, and you react to it emotionally. If things are going well, you feel elevated. If they're not, drop into stress, frustration, or lack. Your emotions become a record of the past events you've experienced. And because emotion is energy in motion, those familiar feelings keep signaling the same genes, the same brain circuits Same chemical responses in the body. Without realizing it, you're subconsciously creating more of the same. The external world becomes the dictator of how you feel inside. And as long as you're living this way, change feels slow, effortful, sometimes impossible. But what if there was a completely different approach, one that accelerates everything? The truth is, to manifest faster, you must reverse this entire process. Instead of waiting for your life to change so you can feel better, you choose to feel better first, independent of your current conditions. You decide to generate elevated emotions right now, in this present moment, as if your desired future has already arrived. This isn't about forcing positivity or denying reality. It's about becoming the living embodiment of your future before it materializes. When you stop waiting for something outside of you to remove the feeling of lack, separation, or unworthiness, and instead intentionally cultivate emotions like gratitude, joy, inspiration, freedom, or love ahead of the experience, you flip the script. You begin living from energy influencing matter. Your inner state no longer depends on the outer world. The outer world starts to respond to your elevated inner state. Reversal is the key that unlocks rapid transformation because it moves you out of survival mode, where the body is ruled by stress hormones, and into creation mode, where you're coherent, open, and magnetic. Think about it. Potential future already exists in the quantum field as a possibility. But to select and draw one of those potentials into your life, you can't broadcast from the energy of the old self. The old self is addicted to the familiar emotions of the past. Emotions keep you tethered to predictable outcomes. By choosing to feel elevated now, you're teaching your body what that future feels like emotionally. Your heart opens, your brain waves slow into coherence, emit a new electromagnetic signature into the field. The longer you sustain that elevated state without needing evidence from the 3D world, the more you condition your body to believe the future is happening in the present. This isn't wishful thinking. Biological, neurological, and energetic upgrade. When you feel gratitude as if your intention is already fulfilled, your brain doesn't know the difference between the imagined event and a real one. It fires new networks, releases new chemicals, begins to install the hardware for that reality. Your body starts living in the future emotionally, and because the body is the subconscious mind, it stops waiting and starts anticipating. Over time, with consistent practice, you become someone who no longer needs the external world to validate your worthiness. You feel worthy inherently. In this reverse process, time collapses. What used to take months or years begins to unfold in weeks or days because you're no longer pushing against the current of old energy. You're aligning with it. People start showing up differently. Opportunities appear that seem coincidental, but are actually synchronized. Your reality reorganizes itself to match the frequency you're broadcasting. And the beauty is, the more you practice this reversal, the easier it becomes. The elevated emotions grow stronger, more natural, until feeling good becomes your baseline, regardless of conditions. This shift requires a conscious choice every single day to no longer let the environment control your thoughts and feelings, but to take command from within. Difference between being a victim of circumstance and becoming the creator of your destiny. When you truly embody this reversal, manifestation isn't something you do, it's who you become. The external changes don't just happen. They happen faster because you've already changed the cause. You've stepped into the elevated energy first, and the universe has no choice but to reflect it back. To manifest at an accelerated pace, fundamental mechanism lies in the precise combination of two elements, a clear intent and elevated emotion. These are not separate forces, but interdependent signals that, when unified, create a powerful broadcast into the unified field where all potentials exist. A clear intention begins with thought. Thought is the electric charge. It carries the information, the vision, the specific outcome you choose to create. It is the mental picture held with focused attention, the exact nature of the health you desire, the precise quality of the relationship you seek, the detailed experience of financial freedom, or the profound sense of purpose you wish to embody. Without clarity, signal is diffuse, scattered across multiple possibilities, and the field responds with equally scattered results. Clarity narrows the selection process, defining the exact potential you are calling into form. Yet thought alone remains incomplete. Thought without emotion is like a transmitter without power. It sends a weak, intermittent signal that dissipates quickly. Emotion is the magnetic charge, the energy that amplifies and sustains the signal. When you attach an elevated emotion to your clear intention, you transform a mere idea into a living vibrational signature. Elevated emotions, gratitude as if the outcome has already occurred, profound love for the version of yourself living that reality, uncontained joy at the mere thought of its existence, deep inspiration from its meaning, or absolute freedom in its presence, these feelings carry high frequency coherence that magnetizes the corresponding experience back to you. In the quantum model of reality, possible version of your life already exists as a probability wave. Your intention selects which wave you tune into, and your emotional state determines how strongly and quickly that wave collapses into particle, into event, into matter. When you feel ordinary emotions rooted in survival, worry, impatience, doubt, you broadcast from lack, and the field mirrors lack. But when you sustain elevated emotion, you broadcast from wholeness, and the field can only mirror wholeness. How this works neurologically and biologically. As you hold the clear intention in your mind, visualizing every sensory detail, and simultaneously amplify an elevated emotion in your heart and body, you create heart-brain coherence. Heart generates a measurable electromagnetic field far stronger than the brain's. In elevated states, this field becomes ordered and coherent, extending several feet from your body and interacting directly with the larger field. Coherent field acts as a magnet, drawing people, resources, ideas, and opportunities that resonate at the same frequency. The key is to feel the emotion not as a future hope, but as a present reality. People imagine their desire and then feel the emotion of wanting it, which reinforces separation. Instead, you must rehearse the emotion of having it. You close your eyes, bring to mind the scene of your intention fulfilled. Allow your body to emotionally live there now. Feel gratitude washing over you as though it has already happened. Let joy expand in your chest as if the evidence is undeniable. Allow love to radiate from your heart toward yourself and the experience. The longer you dwell in this combined state, the more your biology believes the event is occurring in the present moment. This combination shortens the lag time between cause and effect. In the old model, people think and feel from lack, wait for external change, experience long delays. But when clear intention meets elevated emotion consistently, the inner order begins to produce outer order almost immediately. Synchronicities increase. Unexpected doors open. Insights arrive. The body, no longer anticipating stress, begins to heal and rejuvenate in alignment with the new signal. Practice this union daily. Sit in stillness, define your intention with crystal clarity, then surrender into the elevated emotion that belongs to its fulfillment. Breathe into your heart, expand the feeling throughout your body, and maintain it beyond the meditation into your day. The more you repeat this pairing, the more automatic it becomes until your default state is one of coherent intention and elevated emotion. At that point, creation happens not occasionally, but as your natural way of being. This combination is the bridge between the thought of what you want and the experience of having it potential into reality by matching the frequency of the desired outcome before it arrives. The clearer the intention and the higher the sustained emotion, the stronger the signal and the faster the response from the field. To truly accelerate manifestation, first recognize that your current reality is largely a reflection of past emotional states. The brain functions as a repository of everything you've experienced, storing memories not just as images or thoughts, but as emotional imprints. Familiar emotions, fear from old threats, resentment from unresolved conflicts, feelings of unworthiness from past rejections, or scarcity from previous lack have become chemical signatures that the body has grown addicted to. Every time you replay those emotions, you reinforce the same neural pathways, signaling the same genes and producing the same hormonal cascade. In essence, your body becomes a living archive of who you used to be, constantly pulling you back into predictable patterns. These low-frequency emotions operate primarily in survival mode. When the body is flooded with stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline, it prioritizes immediate threats over long-term creation. Energy is diverted from growth, repair, and higher brain function into fight or flight responses. In this state, the thinking brain narrows its focus to the external environment, scanning for danger, and the creative centers shut down. You become more matter than energy, more body than mind, anchored firmly in the material world. As long as you continue to feel these emotions unconsciously throughout your day, you remain tethered to the old reality, recreating it with remarkable consistency, even if you consciously desire something different. The past lives in the body as emotion, and emotion is the subconscious mind's language. When you wake up each morning and immediately feel the same stress, frustration, or emptiness as yesterday, your body believes it is still living in that past event. It anticipates more of the same, preparing chemically for circumstances that haven't even occurred yet. This creates a feedback loop. The thought triggers the familiar emotion. The emotion drives the same thought, and the cycle perpetuates itself. Over years, this conditioning becomes so automatic that most people don't even notice they're choosing it. They believe their emotions are simply reactions to current conditions, when in truth, 95% of their feelings are memorized responses from long ago. To break free from this anchoring effect, you must become greater than your past environment, body, and time. You must consciously choose to no longer let old emotions define your state of being. This requires awareness first, observing your automatic thoughts and the feelings they produce without immediately identifying with them. As you notice these patterns, you interrupt the loop. Then comes the crucial step, replacing the old emotional signature with something entirely new. This is where rehearsing elevated emotions becomes the most powerful tool for transformation. Of waiting for external conditions to shift before feeling better, you deliberately practice feelings like gratitude, joy, love, wholeness, and inspiration every single day. You sit in meditation, bring to mind your desired future, emotionally embody it as if it is happening right now. You teach your body what that future feels like ahead of the actual evidence. At first, the body resists because it craves the familiar chemical state of the past. But with consistent rehearsal, you begin to recondition it. Each time you sustain an elevated emotion longer than the old reflexive one, you weaken the neural connections to the past and build new ones toward the future. Your brain starts wiring new circuits that correspond to the person you are becoming. The body gradually releases its addiction to stress chemicals and begins producing uplifting ones, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, that support growth and creation. Over time, elevated emotions become more familiar than the old survival ones. Your biology literally changes to match the new emotional reality you've been practicing. This process of rehearsal is not fantasy, it's neurological reprogramming. When you feel elevated emotions consistently, the body stops living in the past and starts anticipating the future. It begins expressing new genes in new ways, healing old conditions, increasing energy, and preparing itself for the experiences you're broadcasting. Old self, the one defined by limitation and survival, starts to dissolve, and a new self emerges, one that naturally draws in new circumstances because its energy signature has fundamentally changed. The moment you stop allowing past emotions to control your present state, you step out of the predictable timeline and into possibility. You become no longer bound by what was, but free to create what can be. Liberation from the emotional chains of the past is what allows manifestation to occur rapidly, because you're no longer pulling yesterday's energy into tomorrow. Instead, you're living from a place of pure potential, where the new reality can emerge without resistance. The more you rehearse who you are becoming emotionally, the more your outer world has no choice but to reflect that inner transformation. Heart-brain coherence stands as one of the most profound mechanisms for accelerating manifestation because it aligns the two most powerful electromagnetic generators in your body into a unified, amplified field. The brain produces an electrical field through its constant firing of neurons, while the heart generates an electromagnetic field that is thousands of times stronger in amplitude and carries information far beyond the physical body. These two centers operate in harmony, driven by elevated emotions. The resulting coherence creates a magnetic signature that interacts directly with the larger quantum field, drawing experiences toward you with greater speed and precision. Everyday survival states, the heart and brain often function out of sync. Under stress, frustration, or anxiety, the heart rhythm becomes chaotic and incoherent, sending erratic signals to the brain that reinforce narrow, analytical thinking focused on threats. Incoherence consumes enormous energy, keeps the body in a catabolic state of breakdown, and broadcasts a fragmented signal into the environment. In this mode, your energy leaks outward reactively, responding to external conditions rather than intentionally shaping them. The magnetic field around you remains weak and disorganized, unable to effectively attract or organize new possibilities. Elevated emotions completely transform this dynamic. When you intentionally cultivate feelings such as deep gratitude, unconditional love, profound joy, appreciation, or inspiration, the heart begins to beat in a smooth, ordered rhythm. This rhythm produces a coherent wave pattern that can be measured scientifically. Each heartbeat contributes to a harmonious field rather than canceling out the previous one. As the heart moves into coherence, it sends clear, consistent signals up through the vagus nerve and neural pathways to the brain, shifting brainwave patterns from high, beta stress waves into slower alpha and theta states associated with creativity, insight, and access to non-local information. This alignment creates a powerful feedback loop. Coherent heart informs the brain that the body is safe and thriving, allowing higher centers in the prefrontal cortex to come online fully. You experience expanded awareness, clearer intention, effortless sense of connection to something greater than your separate self. Simultaneously, the brain reinforces the heart's coherence by sustaining focused attention on the elevated feeling, preventing the mind from wandering back in old analytical or survival loops. Together, they generate an electromagnetic field that extends several feet around the body, carrying the precise vibrational information of your inner state. Unified field acts as a literal magnet for manifestation. The stronger and more sustained the coherence, the more potent the draw. Experiences, people, resources, opportunities that match the frequency of your elevated emotional broadcast begin to move toward you because the field organizes the quantum possibilities in alignment with your signal. Once felt like random chance now reveals itself as orchestrated synchronization because your coherent energy is literally pulling the elements of your desired reality into form. To cultivate this coherence intentionally, you must move your awareness in the space of the heart. During meditation or quiet moments, place your attention on the area around your chest, slow your breathing, and generate an elevated emotion independent of external conditions. Breathe as if the feeling is flowing in and out through the heart center, expanding with each inhale and radiating outward with each exhale. As you sustain this practice, you will feel the shift of warmth, pressure, or expansion in the chest, accompanied by a quieting of mental chatter and a deepening sense of presence. The longer you maintain this state, the more the heart entrains the brain into coherence, and the more your entire biology aligns with creation rather than survival. Over time, daily practice, heart-brain coherence becomes more than a temporary state. It becomes your new baseline. You begin to carry this elevated field into your daily activities, maintaining gratitude or appreciation even amid challenges. Magnetic pull strengthens exponentially because the signal is no longer intermittent but continuous. Opportunities arrive with increasing frequency, healing occurs more rapidly, and creativity flows effortlessly. External world begins to mirror the internal order you have established. This coherence explains why some people seem to manifest almost instantaneously while others struggle for years. Who live from elevated emotions naturally maintain higher levels of heart brain alignment, broadcasting a clear, powerful, and sustained signal. The field around them becomes a vortex of attraction, organizing reality in ways that appear miraculous to those still operating from incoherence. By consciously choosing elevated emotions throughout your day, you activate and sustain this coherence deliberately. You move from being a victim of random emotional fluctuations to becoming a master of your energy field. The heart leads, the brain follows, and together they create the conditions for rapid, effortless manifestation. Unified state bridges the gap between intention and experience, collapsing the apparent distance between cause and effect in the quantum realm. Daily practice forms the foundation for rewiring your entire system toward faster manifestation because it turns isolated moments of elevated emotion into a permanent transformation of your biology and energy. Without consistency, States remain fleeting experiences that fade quickly under the pull of old habits, leaving your brain and body unchanged. But when you commit to a structured daily routine of meditation, visualization, deep breathing, and emotional embodiment, you create the repetition necessary to install new neural pathways, shift gene expression, and establish a new subconscious program that automatically broadcasts your desired reality. Begin each morning with intention. Before the demands of the external world pull your attention outward, find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and close your eyes to disconnect from the sensory input of your current environment. Simple act signals to your autonomic nervous system that you are moving from survival into creation. Start by becoming aware of your breath, slowing it deliberately to activate the parasympathetic response and shift out of stress chemistry. As you inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly, direct your attention to the space around your heart, allowing the breath to expand and radiate from that center. This breathing pattern alone begins to generate coherence, preparing your body to receive and sustain elevated emotions more easily. Once centered, move into clear visualization. Bring to mind the precise scene of your desired future, not as a distant hope, but as a living reality unfolding in the present moment. All your senses see the vivid colors and details, hear the sounds associated with the experience, feel the textures, notice the scents, and most importantly, immerse yourself in the emotional quality of that moment. Hold the image steadily while amplifying the corresponding elevated feeling, gratitude surging through your chest as though the outcome has already manifested, joy expanding outward in waves, love filling every cell, freedom releasing any tension. Rush this phase. Linger in the feeling, allowing it to grow stronger and more encompassing with each breath. As you practice, teach your body emotionally what your mind has envisioned intellectually. Move the elevated emotion from a mental concept into a full body experience. Feel it in your heart. Let it radiate down your arms into your torso, through your legs, until your entire physiology resonates with the frequency of the future you are creating. Stray thoughts from the old self arise, and they will gently acknowledge them without judgment and return your focus to the breath and the feeling. This disciplined redirection is where true change occurs. Each time you choose the new emotion over the habitual one, you prune away old synaptic connections and strengthen the new ones. Extend the practice beyond seated meditation by carrying the elevated state into movement. Stand slowly, open your eyes. Maintain the feeling as you begin your day. Walk with the energy of gratitude or inspiration flowing through you. Perform simple tasks while sustaining the inner state, training your body to hold coherence amid external stimuli. Throughout the day, set reminders to pause, briefly close your eyes for a few breaths, and reconnect with the elevated emotion. These micro practices accumulate, preventing you from slipping back into unconscious survival patterns. Offer another powerful opportunity to reinforce the day's programming. Before sleep, review your intention once more, replaying the visualized scene and rekindling the elevated emotion. As you drift off in this state, your subconscious mind, active during sleep, continues the rewiring process, integrating the new emotional signature into deeper levels of your being. Dreams often shift, becoming more vivid and aligned with your creation, further embedding the new reality. Consistency compounds the effects exponentially. After days and weeks of daily practice, you notice subtle shifts. Elevated emotions arise more naturally, require less effort to sustain, and persist longer throughout ordinary activities. Body begins to anticipate the new chemistry rather than craving the old stress hormones. Gene expression changes in measurable ways, upregulating genes associated with health, resilience, and vitality, while downregulating those linked to inflammation and disease. Your resting heart rate variability improves, indicating greater coherence even outside of meditation. Energy levels rise, intuition sharpens, and synchronicities increase as your broadcast becomes clearer and more constant. Daily commitment rewires you at every level: neurological, chemical, energetic, until the future you have been rehearsing emotionally becomes your default inner state. Gap between intention and manifestation narrows dramatically because there is no longer internal resistance pulling you backward. Your biology now supports and expects the new reality, making its appearance in the external world not just possible, but inevitable. Practice evolves from discipline into identity. You no longer have to try to feel elevated. You simply are the elevated version of yourself, living from the end before the evidence arrives. When you sustain elevated emotions for extended periods, a fundamental shift occurs in your very nature. You transition from being predominantly matter, dense, limited, and bound by the laws of classical physics, to becoming more energy than matter, fluid, expansive, capable of interacting directly with the quantum field where all possibilities reside. In ordinary states of consciousness, your awareness is locked into the material realm. You identify primarily with your body, your environment, and time, perceiving yourself as a separate entity navigating a solid, predictable world. Your energy is consumed by survival chemistry, keeping you anchored in Newtonian reality where change appears slow and linear. Elevated emotions, however, carry a much higher frequency. Gratitude, love, joy, inspiration, and freedom vibrate at levels that move you beyond the dense hormonal states of stress and survival. As you linger in these feelings, truly dwelling in them without rushing back to analytical thinking or external distractions, your body's chemistry changes dramatically. Stress hormones decrease while uplifting neurotransmitters and peptides increase. The heart generates coherent electromagnetic fields that extend outward. Brainwaves slow into states where the boundaries of self begin to dissolve. In this prolonged elevated state, you literally become less particle and more wave, less localized matter and more non-local energy. This shift is not metaphorical, it reflects a measurable change in your energetic signature. The atoms and molecules that compose your body are mostly empty space, held together by electromagnetic fields. When your inner state is coherent and elevated, those fields become ordered and amplified, allowing you to broadcast a clear signal into the unified field that permeates all things. You move from being a victim of the particle-based world, where you must move through space and time to acquire experiences, to becoming a conscious participant in the wave-based quantum realm, where distance and time are illusions and possibilities exist simultaneously. In the quantum field, every potential version of your life is already present as pure information, probability waves waiting to collapse into form. Most people remain disconnected from this field because their energy is too dense, too incoherent, too tied to matter. They think about change but feel separation, broadcasting mixed signals that keep potentials at bay. But when you become more energy than matter through sustained elevated emotion, you gain access. Your coherent field overlaps with the unified field, allowing you to tune into and select specific possibilities with precision. The stronger and longer you maintain this state, the more influence you exert over which probabilities organize into events in your life. This is why sustained elevation collapses time in manifestation. In the material world, because in effect appear separated by duration, you set an intention, wait, work, and eventually see results. But in the quantum domain, cause and effect are entangled separation. When you embody the elevated emotion of the desired outcome now, you align your energy with its frequency, and the experience must reorganize matter to match. Seem to require months or years begins to appear in days or even hours, because you are no longer waiting in linear time. You are creating from the eternal now, where everything exists simultaneously. As you practice dwelling in elevated states longer each day, your tolerance for ordinary survival emotions diminishes. The body, having tasted the expanded energy of coherence, begins to prefer it. You find yourself naturally returning to gratitude or joy even in challenging moments. Your awareness expands beyond the confines of your physical form. You sense connection to something greater, receive intuitive insights, and experience moments of profound knowing. Synchronicities multiply because your energy field is constantly interacting with and organizing the field around you. This shift to being more energy than matter also brings biological upgrades. Cells function more efficiently in coherent states. DNA relaxes and expresses healthier genes. Immune function strengthens and aging processes slow. The body begins to reflect the elevated energy you sustain, becoming younger, more vital, and more resilient. You literally change your material form from the inside out by altering your energetic state first. The longer you remain in this elevated condition, the more effortless it becomes to access the quantum field intentionally. Meditation deepens, Visualizations become immersive experiences rather than mental exercises, and the line between inner feeling and outer reality blurs. You start living as the future self now, broadcasting from the end result rather than from lack or anticipation. In this way, manifestation accelerates not because you are forcing outcomes, but because you have become the vibrational match so completely that the field has no option but to reflect your new state back as physical experience. The quantum possibilities collapse faster and more precisely around the coherent energy you now embody. When you consistently embody the elevated emotions of worthiness, wholeness, and abundance in the present moment, profound threshold is crossed where manifestation shifts from effortful pursuit to natural inevitability. The universe operates as a mirror, reflecting back not what you consciously wish for in fleeting moments, sustained vibrational essence you broadcast from your deepest being. As long as any part of you carries the frequency of lack, separation, or unworthiness, even subtly, the field continues to organize experiences that validate those underlying beliefs. Opportunities may appear close yet slip away. Relationships may echo old patterns. Health may improve only temporarily, and abundance may arrive in small measures that reinforce the story of not quite enough. The moment you truly feel worthy now, without requiring external proof, the entire dynamic changes. Worthiness is not earned through achievement, it is claimed through emotional choice. When you sit in stillness and generate the feeling of being completely deserving of your desires, the very essence of life supports and celebrates you. Your energy field reorganizes around that truth. The heart opens fully, coherence strengthens, and the signal you emit carries no contradiction. Longer a split between what you say you want and what your body emotionally believes it can have. This inner alignment eliminates resistance, allowing the quantum possibilities that match your desire to move toward you unhindered. Feeling whole now operates on the same principle. Most people experience themselves as incomplete, waiting for the partner, the healing, the success, or the breakthrough to finally fill the perceived void. Sense of incompleteness broadcasts a frequency of separation, keeping the desired experience at a distance. But when you cultivate the emotion of wholeness independent of conditions, feeling profoundly connected, complete, and at peace within yourself, the field responds by bringing experiences that reflect that inner unity. Relationships deepen or new ones arrive that honor your completeness. Health stabilizes because the body no longer operates from fragmentation. Creativity flows because there's no longer an internal divide pulling energy in opposing directions. Abundance felt now completes the triad. True abundance is not merely financial, it encompasses energy, love, time, opportunities, and vitality. When you awaken each day and choose to feel abundant before any external evidence supports it, marveling at the richness of breath, the gift of awareness, the infinite potential within, you shift from scarcity to overflow. Body releases its grip on survival chemistry, cells function optimally, and intuition guides you toward expansive choices. Resources begin to flow because your field is no longer contracting around fear of loss, but expanding in celebration of plenty. As these emotions become your sustained inner reality, synchronicities cease to be rare events and become your normal way of living. A phone call arrives at the perfect moment with unexpected opportunity. A stranger shares information that directly advances your intention. Ideas download effortlessly during quiet moments. Healing occurs spontaneously as the body aligns with the frequency of wholeness. Financial windfalls or creative breakthroughs manifest not as surprises, but as natural extensions of the abundance you already feel. These events appear miraculous to observers still operating from lack, yet to you they feel ordinary. Simply the universe confirming what you already know to be true. The speed of manifestation increases because there is no longer a buffer of time needed to overcome internal doubt. In the old paradigm, doubt creates delay. Gradually convince the body through incremental evidence that change is safe. But when worthiness, wholeness, and abundance are embodied now, the body is already convinced. It lives in the future emotionally, anticipating and preparing for the matching external reality. Time, which is merely a constructive perception in three-dimensional experience, collapses. What once required years of gradual alignment now unfolds in months, weeks, days, because the inner and outer worlds are no longer out of phase. People, circumstances, and environments begin to reorganize around your new frequency almost immediately. Those who resonate with your elevated state are drawn closer, while those tied to your old energy naturally drift away. New environments present themselves, locations, communities, opportunities that support and amplify your expanded state. The material world, once seemingly solid and resistant, reveals its fluidity, reshaping itself to match the coherent field you sustain. This inevitability arises because the universe is not withholding, it is infinitely responsive. It cannot deliver lack to someone broadcasting abundance, separation to someone embodying wholeness, or unworthiness to someone radiating deservingness. The response is automatic, precise, and increasingly rapid as your inner state stabilizes. Miracles become commonplace not because the laws have changed, but because you have changed your relationship to them. Longer chase outcomes. Outcomes flow toward you as natural consequences of who you've become. The external world simply catches up to the elevated reality you already inhabit emotionally, confirming in form what you have long accepted in feeling. As we come to the end of this journey tonight, take a deep breath and feel the truth of everything we've explored settling into your body. You now know that manifestation is not about chasing outcomes in a world of separation and time, about becoming the elevated version of yourself right here, right now, the one who already lives in wholeness, worthiness, and abundance. You have the power to reverse the old model of waiting for life to change you. Instead, you change your energy first, combining clear intention with sustained, elevated emotion, creating heart-brain coherence, rehearsing your future daily until your body believes it more than the past, shifting into pure energy in the quantum field, allowing synchronicities to flow as the natural expression of your new state. The moment you decide to no longer let external conditions dictate how you feel inside, everything accelerates. The universe is not testing you, delaying you, or withholding from you. It is simply reflecting the signal you have become. When that signal is one of gratitude, love, joy, freedom, and deep inner knowing that your desires are already fulfilled, the reflection appears faster, clearer, and more effortlessly than ever before. So from this day forward, make the commitment to yourself. Rise each morning and choose elevated emotion before the world has a chance to pull you back. Practice becoming the future in the present until it is no longer practice. It is who you are. Feel worthy now. Whole now. Feel abundant now. Broadcast that frequency without apology or hesitation. Because when you do, manifestation stops being something you hope for and becomes something you live. Opportunities will find you. Healing will unfold within you. Love, success, vitality, and joy will organize around you, not as distant dreams, but as your everyday reality. You are the creator. You always have been. And now you are ready to step fully into that power, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, sacred moment. Open your heart wider than ever before. Feel the elevated energy coursing through you. And know with absolute certainty that your new life is not coming. It is already here, waiting only for you to fully inhabit it. Thank you for sharing this space, this energy, this possibility. Go out and become supernatural. The world is waiting for the version of you that you are now ready to become.